touch his teammate, he's now got damage. Nico Rosberg turns onto the grass, and Hamilton's had a massive crash, and he's crashed into his teammate.
And Max Verstappen will return to the top step of the podium. 4 victories in a row at Imola. Max Verstappen wins.
Most Formula One drivers become champions. Only a few change how people think Formula One can be driven. Max Verstappen didn't build his reputation over one race. He built it through moments that left fans, rivals and commentators all asking the same question. How did he just do that? These are the 7 moments that built the legend of Max Verstappen. Number 7. The youngest winner ever.
Touch his teammate, he's now got damage. Nico Rosberg to his front wing. Bits of carbon fibre are showering the track.
May 15th, 2016. The Spanish Grand Prix. 4 days earlier, Red Bull had made a brutal call, dropping Daniil Kvyat from their senior team and promoting an 18-year-old who had never driven the car in a race before, Max Verstappen.
Turns onto the grass, and Hamilton's had a massive crash, and he's crashed into his teammate. The 2 Mercedes come together.
On lap 1, the 2 Mercedes drivers, Nico Rosberg and Lewis Hamilton, took each other out fighting for the lead. Suddenly the race belonged to whoever could keep their head. Verstappen, on a 2-stop strategy, while his rivals gambled on 3, spent the closing laps holding off Kimi Raikkonen's Ferrari by less than a second for lap after lap, without putting a wheel wrong. Martin Brundle, commentating, called it a calm maturity that simply didn't seem possible at 18. It wasn't. He won by 0.6 of a second, the youngest winner in the history of the sport, 2.5 years younger than the previous record holder, Sebastian Vettel. Most drivers spend years proving they belong. Verstappen did it in one afternoon, and he was only getting started. Number 6. The lap. His own engineer called insane. April 5th, 2025. Suzuka. McLaren had dominated the entire weekend. Every practice session, Q1, Q2, all of it. Verstappen, struggling with the balance of his Red Bull and under scrutiny over an investigation from earlier practice, looked a step behind all weekend.
Defending Drivers' Champion Max Verstappen was a little ragged through the chicane at one point. Max finished the session P6, his new teammate P9 as the flag fell.
With the clock running out in Q3, he produced a 1 minute 26.983 seconds, the fastest lap ever recorded at Suzuka, edging out Lando Norris by just 12 thousandths of a second, with Oscar Piastri a fraction further back. The top 3 were separated by 0.039 seconds. On the Red Bull pit wall, race engineer Giampiero Lambiase couldn't find another word for it over the radio. Insane. Team principal Christian Horner, watching from the garage, simply said, "Unbelievable." Verstappen himself sounded almost surprised by what he'd just done. "It's insane in a Formula One car around here," he said afterward. Sector 1 especially is unbelievable. To commit is incredibly hard, but incredibly rewarding. It was his 4th consecutive pole at the circuit, in a car that had been off the pace all weekend. Rain removes many of the advantages a faster car usually has. Sometimes one perfect lap rewrites everything that came before it. Number 5. The move the FIA couldn't ignore.
And Max Verstappen will return to the top step of the podium. 4 victories in a row at Imola. Max Verstappen wins the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix.
May 18th, 2025. Imola, round 7 of the season. Oscar Piastri started from pole, in the dominant McLaren that had led the championship for most of the year. Verstappen, in a Red Bull that was nowhere near as fast, got a poor launch off the line.
Lando Norris trying to go past Oscar Piastri, the only driver ahead of him in the World Championship, round the outside of his teammate. Not much margin, but the move complete.
It shouldn't have mattered. Going into the first corner complex, Piastri was focused on defending against George Russell on the inside. Verstappen chose the outside line instead. the wider, riskier, slower-looking route, braking later and deeper than anyone expected, and somehow arriving alongside the McLaren anyway. Piastri never saw it coming. Once past, Verstappen controlled the race from the front, riding a lucky safety car to a free pit stop and managing the restart perfectly to take the win. The move later won the FIA's Own Action of the Year award, F1's Overtake of the Year, and, when fans were asked to vote on the best pass of the entire 2025 season across 8 nominated moves, it won that too. A driver in the wrong car on the outside line at one of the most demanding corners on the calendar. Sometimes greatness isn't driving the fastest car, it's making the impossible move. Number 4. The comeback from 14th.
For Max Verstappen, who's sliding his way out of the final corner and taking the line, winning the Belgium Grand Prix.
August 28th, 2022, Spa-Francorchamps. Verstappen had topped every session of the weekend, and then took a 10-place grid penalty for an unscheduled engine change, dropping him to 14th for the start. By the end of lap 1, he was 8th, by lap 6, 5th, by lap 8, on the podium. He took the lead for the first time on lap 12 and simply drove away from the field, eventually winning by over 17 seconds. It was quite a hectic first lap to stay out of trouble because so many things were happening in front of me, he said afterward. But once we settled in, the car was really on rails. By halfway through the race, everyone realized what they were watching. They thought they were watching a recovery. They were watching complete control. Modern overtaking is rarely about pure outright speed alone. It's about tyre management across an entire stint. A driver recovering from a poor grid position has to balance the temptation to attack every car in front against the cost of overheating and degrading the tyres. He'll need 20 laps later. Verstappen's recoveries have repeatedly shown the same pattern. Aggressive in the opening laps while tyres are fresh, then patient and clinical once the easy positions are gone. Number 3. The drive that broke the records.
Having a look in the mirror, Verstappen getting close, and he just immediately commits to the racing line. There's the first luck up we have seen from the race leader.
September 3rd, 2023. Monza. Verstappen arrived at the Italian Grand Prix, already on 9 consecutive wins, level with Sebastian Vettel's decade-old record. Carlos Sainz, on pole for Ferrari, defended like his championship depended on it, closing the door on Verstappen's first attempt at Turn 1, holding the racing line lap after lap, while the Red Bull sat right on his rear wing. Verstappen could be heard on the radio, audibly frustrated, complaining about the Ferrari's top speed.
And Max Verstappen takes the lead on the day that he chases history. He gets past the Ferrari. Sainz fights back.
On lap 15, Sainz finally locked a tyre into Turn 1. Verstappen drew level through the Curva Grande and took the lead under braking moments later. From there, he simply drove off. "I never would have believed that was possible," he said afterward of the record. Winning once proves speed. Winning 10 races in a row changes history. Number 2. The move nobody thought would work.
The championship leader on the attack. Here we go with Max Verstappen. Wasn't even a contest.
November 3rd, 2024. Interlagos, again, somehow even wetter than 2016. Verstappen had started 17th after a chaotic red flag-interrupted qualifying session, with his title lead over Lando Norris shrinking by the week. He carved through the field from the moment the lights went out, picking off cars one at a time in conditions where almost nobody else dared attempt an overtake at all. When the rain became too severe to continue, he made the call himself. Try a lap. It was a gamble that left him as one of only 2 drivers who didn't pit, a decision that, when the race resumed under a late safety car, put him perfectly placed behind race leader Esteban Ocon.
The red flag is out. The red flag is out with 46 seconds on the clock.
He needed one corner. Turn 1 on fresh tyres against Ocon's worn ones. Brake late. Commit completely. He took the lead and never gave it back. It was only the third time in Formula One history a driver had won from 17th on the grid. By the time everyone else realized the move wouldn't work, Verstappen had already made it work. Number 1. ABU Dhabi 2021.
The sudden stop is the one that really hits you hard.
Taking the corner at about 106 miles an hour. Ooh.
December 12th, 2021. The season finale at Yas Marina. Hamilton and Verstappen arrived level on points, the first title decided this close in over a decade. For almost the entire race, Hamilton controlled it from the front. With 5 laps remaining, Nicholas Latifi crashed, bringing out a safety car. Hamilton stayed out on old tyres. Verstappen pitted for fresh softs. What followed became one of the most argued over sequences in the sport's history. A decision made under enormous time pressure about exactly which lapped cars would be allowed to pass the safety car before the race restarted. Mercedes principal Toto Wolff protested furiously over the radio. Race director Michael Masi's reply, "Toto, it's called motor racing, we went car racing," became instantly permanently part of Formula One folklore.
That looks like he's timed it perfectly. Here comes Hamilton towards the start line and he's got the jump on Vettel.
The race restarted with 1 lap remaining. Verstappen, directly behind Hamilton on far fresher tyres, dived down the inside into turn 5 and made the move stick. Hamilton's only words over the radio were, "This is getting manipulated, man." His engineer could only reply that he was speechless. Whatever anyone believes about how that final lap came to exist, one thing is certain. Once it existed, a perfect lap still had to be driven. Verstappen drove it. Whether people celebrate it or debate it, Formula One has never quite looked the same since. Why these moments matter.
Church's teammate, he's now got damage. Nico Rosberg turns onto the grass, and Hamilton's had a massive crash, and he's crashed into his teammate.
Max finished the session P6.
Each of these moments revealed a different version of the same driver. A fearless rookie, a driver capable of producing a perfect lap on demand. A driver who could make a move work that no one else would attempt. An impossible comeback, a record breaker, a second impossible comeback. A closer who could execute under more pressure than almost anyone in the sport's history. Great drivers win races. Legendary drivers create moments. Because statistics create champions. Moments create legends. And few drivers have created more unforgettable moments than Max Verstappen.
Max Verstappen is a 4-time Formula One world champion.
Formula One has produced many champions. Very few have changed what people believed was possible inside one. Whether people admire him or simply race against him, Max Verstappen has already left moments that Formula One fans will be talking about for decades. Because statistics create champions, moments create legends. Which Verstappen moment do you think belongs at number 1? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this documentary, please consider subscribing. There are many more incredible stories from Formula One history still to come.